Ever wondered what it feels like to live in a zombie apocalypse? Of course you did, who hasn't? State of Decay is here to fulfill that rotting fantasy, offering an open world map to explore and simulation mechanics that will test your leadership skills. The game immediately drops you off in the action as Marcus Campbell with his friend Ed Jones, in the middle of a fishing trip till all of a sudden they are attacked by a horde of zombies. You'll first be given a small park that you can explore some kind of a tutorial level, but after this, the world will open up, offering different activities and missions for you to do. But there's only one goal in the game, and that is to survive. You'll also be able to switch to different survivors in your community and use them to finish some missions. This game will give you the freedom to do whatever you want, but you've still got to manage your time in Chumbo Valley, as some of the missions will only be available for a specific time, which means you've got to take them as soon as possible, or else all of the missions will stack up, and when they do, you will be forced to choose which one to go to first. Should you try and save some of your fellow survivors, or get rid of the infestations to lessen the hordes of zombies? Some are just your typical zombie story missions, but more often than not, some of the missions are a bit silly in context. Some are told in a way like a zombie apocalypse isn't even happening, which can ruin the immersion. And the ending of the game is very abrupt and anticlimactic that I can't help but feel like the story is incomplete.
Good, we made it.
Of course, State of Decay is not just about killing zombies. It is a game with multiple mechanics created to test your leadership skills. You are given a huge open world map full of undead that you can explore of your own free will. You can loot some of the houses to provide supplies for your community. And when looting, you've got the option to do it a lot faster, but in exchange of risking your location to the zombies. However, in the land of State of Decay, every action you make will be permanent, meaning if you do loot a house or take a car, it won't magically respawn like in every other game. You've also got to take care of your own base by building stations to provide the needs of your community, such as a medical area to cure the sick or a garden to provide food. You'll have to manage every single resource that you have, as each time you leave the game or something happens inside the community, the game will deduct your supplies, simulating what will happen if you were away. And you've also got to look out for hordes who can attack your base and possibly even kill your fellow survivors. When engaging in combat, you've got two choices of attack, whether to use a melee weapon for a close and personal attack, or to use an arsenal that could possibly attract more zombies but also allows you to add distance from them. There's also a stamina bar that you'll have to look out for as it can deplete with each action that you make. Thankfully, there are vehicles scattered around the map that you can easily use. These things are probably the best weapon when it comes to killing hordes of zombies. The problem is, well, it's not really easy to use. Controlling them feels floaty, especially the sports cars. Whenever I speed up, it feels like the car is going to fly off any second. The controls for the game feel a bit clunky and aiming up shots is extremely difficult. But when you're in face to face with the zombies, all of these issues will easily be forgotten because of how addicting this game is. You'll be given the opportunity to recruit survivors to join your community. Some can be recruited by saving them, while some can only join you by doing missions to be able to gain their trust. You can bring some of these survivors to help you out when you're scavenging for supplies or killing zombies. However, you've still got to take care of them, as that is permanent in the world of State of Decay, and once a survivor gets killed, you won't be able to see them again. But the thing is, the AI for your fellow survivors can be a bit dumb at times, and will often than not be the cause of the problem. And they also can't help you on missions or loot for supplies, so meaning they're really only there as a backup for killing zombies. And the game likes to reuse the same character models a lot for the survivors, and with only a handful of differences, it kind of takes me out of the experience, especially when you can now finally play as them. It's so difficult to know which one's who. You can choose to be a lone wolf and explore the areas all by yourself. However, I don't recommend this at all, as it's a pretty risky move, and one small mistake could easily lead to your death. Whenever I'm alone, I usually tend to avoid the more powerful zombies, because I'm scared that I might get the character that I'm playing as killed. I usually hate games with an overwhelming amount of different mechanics meshed together, but State of Decay still manages to be compelling even with these. The game's mechanics are well explained enough that it could still be understood by beginners. While the game may be great, it's not perfect. It's full of annoying technical issues, from the typical pop-ins to massive frame rate drops that would occur in some very specific areas. One thing that's a constant issue with the game is when booting it up, it's always on windowed mode, even if the option for the full screen is selected. I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's pretty annoying going back to the settings every single time you close the game just to fix this small issue. But probably the worst issue that I've encountered in the game is when it takes away your control. This issue seems to trigger randomly. Sometimes it happens when I look at the map or the UI, sometimes it happens when I get attacked. It's so frustrating wasting at least 5 seconds just trying to regain control of the game. And when you're in battle and you've got no control for those seconds, you're practically dead. It's to blame for the many deaths that have happened to my survivors. Goodbye, Marcus, you could have survived. State of Decay is a great game. Aside from its numerous technical issues, it's almost a perfect survival zombie game because of its surprising amount of mechanics that lets you choose how you will tell your own survival story. Next time, we will take a look at the 2 DLC for the game included in the Year 1 Survival Edition release, Breakdown and Lifeline.